Hey everyone, welcome back. I know a lot of you, just like me, love grabbing a quick bite every now and then.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who doesn't enjoy some good fast food every once in a while?
Right. But lately it seems like there have been some pretty big shakeups in the fast food world.
Yeah, lots of changes.
And a lot of you have reached out asking what's up with it all.
Lots of questions.
So that's what we're going to do today. Take a deep dive into what's happening in the fast food industry in the U.S.
What's booming, what's not?
Exactly. And try to figure out why.
The big why.
Yeah. So be prepared for some interesting stuff, because it's not just restaurants closing their doors.
It's way more than that.
Yeah, we're talking shifting habits, all those economic pressures we hear about.
And don't forget some pretty bold moves from the big names in fast food.
Okay, so let's start with those closing soon signs everyone's been seeing.
Right.
I know you've probably seen some familiar names just vanish. KFC, Arby's.
Oh, yeah, even TGI Fridays.
Even Firehouse Subs.
Yep.
But I think what's really interesting is the sheer variety of chains that are being affected.
Yeah, you're right. This isn't just a few brands struggling.
No, it's like a whole bunch of different places from all different price points and types of food.
Absolutely. Got to be something bigger happening.
And it's not always just shrinking. Sometimes chains are pulling out entirely.
Like what?
Well, get this. KFC is actually pulling out of Louisiana completely.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I was surprised too.
Makes you wonder what's going on in Louisiana.
Right, that even a giant like KFC has to say, nope, we're out.
Wow, so what's behind all these closures?
Declining sales and foot traffic are definitely a factor, especially after the pandemic.
Makes sense. A lot of people still aren't back to their old dining habits.
Exactly. And then there are all the franchisees who are dealing with rising costs for everything. Ingredients, labor, you name it.
Oh, yeah, it's tough out there.
Then you've got competition, not just from other fast food places.
Right, but from those casual dining places, too.
Yeah, because they've gotten more affordable for a lot of people.
And some experts are pointing to another factor, too.
What's that?
Safety concerns and crime in some urban areas.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Not as many people want to go out if they don't feel safe.
Right, so it seems like this whole bunch of challenges hitting the industry at once.
Like a perfect storm.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But not all bad news. Right.
No, not at all.
Huh?
Some brands are using all this as a chance to try some new things.
Like who?
Well, Burger King is a really interesting case. Have you heard about what they're doing?
I know their parent company brought in those Domino's guys.
Yeah, Restaurant Brands International, or RBI, they brought in some former Domino's execs who are known for turning brands around.
And they're really going all in.
Yeah, they launched this plan called Reclaim the Flame, and it's a $400 million gamble.
Whoa, $400 million, that's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of money.
So what are they doing with all that cash?
Well, they're remodeling restaurants, trying to give them a more modern feel.
Gotta stay up to date.
And they're putting tons of money into advertising, especially those digital platforms, to reach younger people.
Smart move. Everyone's online these days.
And they're really focusing on those classic menu items.
Like what?
The Whopper, bringing back that nostalgia.
The Whopper? I haven't had one of those in ages.
Yeah, they're trying to remind everyone why they loved it in the first place.
Sounds like a good strategy, but risky.
Risky for sure, but some early signs suggest it might be working.
Fingers crossed.
But to do all this, they're actually closing some locations too.
Wait, so they're investing all this money, but also closing places?
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but they're closing the ones that aren't performing well so they can put more resources into the stronger markets.
Makes sense.
So it's a long-term approach, prioritizing revitalizing the brand rather than just trying to cut costs in the short term.
That makes sense. Oh, and did you see that Whopper song campaign?
Oh yeah, that TikTok thing. I saw it.
That's a pretty catchy, right?
Definitely got stuck in my head for a while.
Marketing geniuses.
Speaking of marketing, all this talk about fancy new menus and ad campaigns makes me wonder, what about the cost?
Yeah, fast food prices are going up everywhere.
And it's not just a few cents here and there. It feels like every time I go to grab something quick, the prices have jumped up significantly.
Yeah, I've noticed it too.
Fries, Happy Meals, those combo meals I used to rely on, everything's more expensive.
And it's not just your imagination. The data shows it too.
Okay, give me some examples.
Well, McDonald's fries, for instance, have seen a pretty big price increase.
No way, really?
Yeah, and their Happy Meals aren't the bargain they used to be either.
Oh, wow.
Burger King combo meals have also taken a hit.
And what about Subway?
Even the Subway footlong, which used to be the go-to for value, has gotten pricier.
Man, it really makes you think twice before hitting that drive-thru these days.
Right. It's not as convenient on the wallet anymore.
So what's driving these price hikes? Are these companies just trying to boost their profits?
There's actually a few things at play here.
Like what?
Well, there's supply chain issues, all those disruptions we've been hearing about.
Right, yeah.
And the cost of ingredients keeps going up.
Oh, yeah, and the labor market is tight, which means wages are rising.
Exactly. And don't forget all those minimum wage increases happening in different states.
Wow. It's like this perfect storm of economic pressure.
Yeah, definitely a tough time for the industry.
Has this changed your fast food habits at all?
To be honest, I'm definitely more price conscious now.
Me too.
I'm always checking for deals
Hmm.
and considering those less expensive options more often than I used to.
Yeah, I find myself looking for coupons and deals way more.
And I'm not hitting the drive-through as often as I used to.
Same here. Definitely trying to be more strategic about where I spend my fast food dollars these days.
Makes sense.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all.
There's some interesting stuff happening in the fast food world, too.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, especially when it comes to mergers and acquisitions.
Really? Tell me more.
So, PepsiCo, you know them, right?
Yeah, of course. Sodas and snacks.
Right. Well, they just acquired Seat Foods.
Seafoods, I haven't heard of them.
They're known for their grain-free tortillas and catering to folks with dietary restrictions.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really caught my attention because it seems like everyone's trying to get a piece of that better-for-you market these days.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But do you think it's a genuine shift toward healthier options or just a fad?
That's a good question. What do you think?
Well, I think it's part of a bigger trend we're seeing.
What do you mean?
Big food companies are trying to diversify, trying to appeal to those health-conscious consumers.
So it's not enough to just have the classic burgers and fries anymore,
Right, they need something for everyone.
including those who want something a little healthier.
Exactly. Consumers are demanding more variety and options these days.
And it makes sense. I know I'm way more likely to choose a salad or a veggie bowl over a greasy burger now.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it's not just limited to the food industry either.
What do you mean?
Well, we're seeing all kinds of mergers and acquisitions across different industries.
Give me some examples.
Well, for example, Home Depot acquired SRS Distribution, a big name in roofing and building products.
Wow, didn't know that.
And Diamondback Energy merged with Endeavor Energy Partners.
Interesting.
Seems like everyone's trying to adapt and expand their reach.
Makes sense in this climate.
Yeah, it's like a giant game of chess, with companies constantly making moves to stay ahead.
For sure.
And speaking of chess, remember those Subway closures we talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah. What about them?
Well, Subway just got acquired by Roark Capital.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and a lot of people think this could be a turning point for the brand.
A fresh start.
Exactly. And there's other big moves happening, too.
Joanne.
Well, Johnson & Johnson acquired Shockwave Medical, which is known for its innovative cardiovascular technology.
Wow, big players making big moves.
And then you've got Honeywell. They're trying to acquire Carrier Global, a big name in the HVAC industry.
So many deals going down.
It's crazy, right?
It is. It makes you wonder what it all means.
Yeah, how all these mergers and acquisitions are going to shape the future of all these industries.
Food included.
Absolutely. But let's bring it back to that trend of catering to health-conscious consumers.
Right back to fast food.
Do you think it's here to stay or just a fad?
That's the million-dollar question.
What do you think?
Well, I think there's a genuine increase in awareness about healthy eating.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
People are paying more attention to what they're eating, even when they're on the go.
Yeah, like I said, I'm more likely to grab a salad now than a burger.
Me too. But fast food is usually about indulgence, right?
Yeah, convenience and treating yourself.
Not exactly kale salads and quinoa bowls.
You've got a point there. So how do you balance those desires?
Yeah, that's the big challenge for the industry.
Yeah.
How do you give people those indulgent foods they crave, but also those healthier options they want?
It's a good question. Will we see more menus that blend the two?
Yeah, or maybe a clearer separation between traditional fast food and healthy fast casual.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
For sure. It's a really dynamic landscape right now.
Yeah, constantly changing and evolving.
So let's take a step back and recap what we've learned so far.
Sounds good.
We've seen a wave of closures, right?
Yeah, hitting some big names in the fast food industry.
And it's due to declining sales, rising costs, all that competition.
But we've also seen brands like Burger King fighting back with these ambitious plans to revitalize their brand.
Spending big money to win back customers.
Right, and we talked about the elephant in the room, rising prices.
Making it harder to justify that quick and easy meal.
And of course, we can't forget all those mergers and acquisitions.
Companies trying to adapt and stay ahead of the curve.
So much change happening.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
There's so much more to uncover.
You're telling me. But now I think it's time to look ahead.
To the future.
Yeah, to those trends that are going to shape the future of those quick bites we all love.
Absolutely, because the industry is definitely changing.
So where do we even begin?
Well, I think one of the biggest shifts is how we define value.
Okay, so not just about the cheapest meal anymore.
Right. It's not just about finding the best deal on a dollar menu.
So what else are people looking for?
People want quality ingredients, convenience, and they're thinking about things like sustainability.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know I'm more willing to spend a little extra if I know the food is good for me and good for the planet.
Exactly. Consumers are more conscious about where their food comes from and how it impacts the environment.
And I definitely noticed myself looking beyond those value menus.
Yeah, sometimes a slightly higher price means better quality.
And peace of mind.
Exactly.
So how are fast food brands responding to these new expectations?
Well, we're seeing a lot more emphasis on premium ingredients and new menu items.
Interesting. So like what?
More chains are using fresh, locally sourced produce, better quality meats, and they're experimenting with new flavors.
Ah, so it's like they're taking those classic fast food staples and elevating them.
Right, it's not just about being cheap and greasy anymore.
And what about customization? It feels like that's becoming a big deal too.
Oh yeah, customization and personalization are huge trends.
Because people want more control over what they're eating.
Exactly. They want to feel like they're getting exactly what they want, whether it's choosing their toppings or having options for their dietary needs.
So it's like have it your way taken to the next level.
Exactly. But the question is, how do they manage all that customization in a fast-paced environment, like a fast food restaurant?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Technology is playing a big role here.
Oh, of course.
We're seeing more digital ordering, those self-service kiosks where you can customize everything.
Yeah, those are everywhere now.
And there's even AI-powered systems that recommend items based on your past orders or your preferences.
Wow, so it's like having a personal assistant helping you create your meal.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And this technology is being used for loyalty programs and rewards too.
Makes sense.
Brands are tracking consumer behavior and using that data to offer personalized promotions and discounts.
So it's like those old punch cards, but way more advanced?
Yeah, it's about rewarding customers and making them feel valued.
But even with all this new stuff, we can't forget the heart of fast food.
Speed and convenience.
Right, because no matter how fancy or delicious the food is, if it takes forever to get, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Absolutely. People still want their food fast.
So how are they keeping up with that demand for speed while also offering all these new things?
Well, we're seeing a lot of focus on drive-thrus.
Oh yeah, they've got to be efficient.
Expanding delivery options, curbside pickup, those mobile order-ahead lanes.
Makes sense. Got to make things as smooth and easy as possible.
Exactly. And those mobile ordering apps are a game changer.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love being able to order ahead and just swing by to pick it up.
Me too. It's so convenient.
So it seems like the future of fast food is all about finding that balance between speed, customization, and value.
Right. It's a multifaceted challenge.
But there's one more trend we have to talk about.
What's that?
Sustainability.
Ah, right. It's not just about the food itself anymore.
Yeah, it's about the whole process, from the ingredients to the packaging.
And consumers are paying attention.
Oh yeah, people are way more aware of the environmental impact of their choices.
Absolutely. They want to support brands that align with their values.
And they're willing to vote with their wallets.
Which is pushing fast food chains to adopt more sustainable practices.
So what are they doing?
We're seeing responsibly sourced ingredients, efforts to reduce waste, eco-friendly packaging.
Like those paper straws and compostable containers?
Exactly. But it's more than just appearances.
Right, it's got to be more than just switching to paper straws.
Absolutely. Brands are investing in renewable energy, reducing their carbon footprint, and working with ethical suppliers.
So it sounds like the industry is under a lot of pressure to adapt.
It's a challenging time for sure, but it's also a really exciting time.
How so?
Well, amidst all these challenges, there's tons of opportunities for innovation.
Right, like figuring out how to meet those new consumer demands.
Exactly. The brands that can successfully navigate all of these changes will be the ones that thrive in the future.
So what does that future look like? We've talked about robots flipping burgers, but is that really the future of fast food?
That's the big question. And to answer that, we're going to have to delve even deeper.
I like the sound of that. But now it's time for the really fun stuff.
Oh yeah, I love this part.
Time to look ahead and see what's coming next for those quick bites we love so much.
Let's get those crystal balls out.
All right, so let's start with those robots everyone's talking about.
The robots are coming. Or are they already here?
Well, we've all seen those self-service kiosks and robotic arms in some restaurants.
Yeah, those are becoming pretty common.
But are we talking full-on robot-run restaurants in the future?
You know, it might not be that far off.
Really?
Some companies are already testing fully automated kitchens.
Whoa, so like no human cooks at all.
Imagine robots doing everything.
Like everything.
Grilling, frying, assembling orders, all with perfect precision and speed.
Okay, that's kind of blowing my mind a little.
Right. It's pretty wild.
But I have to ask, what about the human touch? I'd kind of miss those interactions with the cashiers and cooks.
Yeah, I get
It's
that.
part of the experience, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's where the future lies.
What do you mean?
I think it's going to be a collaboration between humans and robots.
Ah, like a partnership.
Exactly. Robots can handle those repetitive tasks.
But we still need humans for customer service, making sure things run smoothly.
And creating that welcoming atmosphere.
Makes sense. So each side does what it does best.
Right, a win-win for everyone.
But what about the food itself? Any radical changes happening there?
One area that's getting a lot of attention is personalized nutrition.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Imagine ordering a meal that's tailored to your specific needs and preferences.
Okay, so I walk in, tell them my dietary restrictions, my health goals,
You could even tell them your mood.
and they whip up a custom menu just for me.
That's the idea, like having a personal chef, but at fast food speed.
Okay, but how would they know what I'm actually craving?
No mind-reading devices just yet.
That's a relief.
But AI and data analysis are getting really sophisticated.
Oh, interesting.
They can track your past orders, see what you like, and even make recommendations based on things like your location or the weather.
Wow, so it's like they're anticipating my needs before I even know them myself.
Pretty much all about creating a truly personalized experience.
Okay, color me impressed.
It's pretty cool stuff.
So we've got robots, personalized menus. What else is on the horizon? What about those lab-grown burgers I keep hearing about?
Ah, yes, lab-grown meat, a real game changer.
But is it really the future?
It has the potential to be.
How so?
Well, it's meat produced from animal cells in a lab, so it completely bypasses traditional animal agriculture.
So no more farms?
Potentially, and the technology is advancing rapidly.
But will it taste the same?
Early taste tests are showing really promising results.
So it could be just as delicious as the meat we're used to.
That's what the research suggests.
I'll be honest, I'm still a little skeptical.
It's new territory, but it's definitely something to watch.
Because it could be more sustainable and ethical than traditional meat production.
Exactly, a potential solution to a lot of the problems facing the industry.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So, robots, lab-grown meat. What other futuristic food tech is out there? What about 3D printed food?
Oh yeah, 3D food printing, that's another exciting area.
Is it just hype, though?
No, it's a technology with a lot of potential.
Like what?
Imagine a machine that can create intricate food designs, layer by layer.
So like a burger shaped like my favorite superhero?
Could be, but it's more than just novelty.
Okay, how so?
It could revolutionize how food is made, allowing for even more customization, better portion control. You could even create entirely new textures and flavors.
It's pretty mind-blowing to think about.
It is, and it's all happening right now.
It feels like we're on the edge of a major shift in how we experience fast food.
Absolutely, a time of great change, but also a time of incredible opportunity.
So what's the takeaway for all of us fast food lovers?
Well, we've seen how the industry is under pressure to adapt,
To meet those changing expectations.
but it's also overflowing with innovation and potential.
From robots and lab-grown meat to 3D printing, it's clear that the fast food experience is going to look very different in the future.
It is, and it's exciting to think about what that future holds.
Yeah, and even with all this technology, I think it's important to remember that fast food is, at its core, about convenience and affordability.
Absolutely. Those basic desires for a quick, tasty, and affordable meal will always be there.
No matter how high-tech things get.
Right, at the end of the day, we all want something good to eat.
That we can enjoy without breaking the bank.
And that's what makes this industry so fascinating to watch.
It's always evolving, always finding new ways to meet those needs.
So what role will fast food play in our lives in the years to come? That's the question we all have to ponder.
Will it become even more integrated into our daily routines?
Will we see hyper-personalized meals delivered by drones?
Or maybe a return to those simpler, more authentic food experiences?
It's a great question, and I think the answer is probably a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a mix of old and new, high-tech and traditional.
And that's what makes it so exciting. We don't have all the answers, but we know the future of fast food is going to be delicious.
And I, for one, can't wait to see what happens next.
Me too. It's going to be a wild ride.
That's it for our deep dive into the fast food industry. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been fun.
And as always, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those taste buds adventurous.
Until next time.
See you then.